You walk in tired and hungry, one bad dinner away from losing it. You don't like to cook. You don't want more takeout. You just want something good. That's why there's Dish by Blue Apron. Pre-made meals with at least 20 grams of protein and no artificial flavors or colors. From fridge to fork in 5 minutes or less. Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
You're listening to Achtung, Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Good morning, Monday with Merv, dear listeners. In the wake, obviously, of that 4-0 drubbing. Well, I'm trying to think of appropriate metaphors. Drubbing, shellacking, thumping.
I think it was the strangest 4-0 win I've ever seen in almost 50 years of following Millwall. I don't think I can ever remember getting to like the 80th minute of a match of such domination and so many chances and only being 1-0 up. And the paranoid Millwall supporter in me was thinking, I've seen this before. I can see Charlton nicking a last minute equaliser and we'll get those chances. But once that second goal went in, I mean, Charlton looked
they collapsed, didn't they?
Strangely submissive, didn't they? They looked like they'd really given up. But yeah, bizarre. 4-0 was no mean reflection. I think 8-0 wouldn't have been an injustice, really, if you think about the chances we missed. But yeah, it's funny because going into the match, again, with me paranoid or sort of negative head on, you think because we've got this now famous 30-year record, which obviously we all have a little bit of fun with. But you think sometimes records like this they go when you least expect it. I mean, of all the times we played Charlton, we were probably expecting to win on Saturday more than most. But I sort of felt like we maybe had that hanging over us that if we don't lose today, then it's a full 30 years since they've actually beaten us. But getting the early goal was great, obviously. That makes a big difference to this team, I think. We score early, score first, score early, then we're away. But yeah, I mean, why we weren't 3 or 4 up at half time, I don't know.
The record becomes a bit of a weight on your shoulders, Merv, I find, because it's got to go one day. Nothing,
of course it has. Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever in this life. So, as much as we love the 30 year, and we were just talking before the start, listeners, about the historic record. It's not much better. I mean, they've only ever beaten us in league terms, Merv, 11 times, because one of the 12 that shows up on the stat that I just posted on X is an Anglo-Italian Cup.
Anglo-Italian, yeah, I noticed that, which is quite bizarre.
I can't really call.
Yeah,
no, it was in the early 1990s, but it's a historic thing. Why that is, I don't know. I mean, it's a very strange thing. Local derbies tend to be split roughly 30-30 between wins, losses, and draws. So it's just it's one of those things, but. I must admit, since that, it was an odd 4-0 win, you're right, because I never felt despite the chances, I never felt we were playing particularly as smoothly as we have in recent games. Maybe a tough week was catching up with us a little bit. We did create chances, but, it wasn't our best, but we were leagues ahead of Charlton. They looked so poor. Quite unbelievably so for a team that is not in the relegation zone of the Championship, but certainly they're looking downwards. Rather in the manner, Merv, of motorway crashes, you get a certain type of driver that will slow down to look at the innards of a car that's just been in a pile up. I find myself trawling, and I keep doing this, listeners, the Charlton Live podcast and the Charlton forums just to read. It's like the old ladies used to go to funerals, just to be there. Not their funeral. There's a certain kind of macabre pleasure in looking at it all because they as a club look adrift, and their fans seem to see it that way as well. They don't see any chance of them.
Yeah, I mean they're turning on Nathan Jones now. I mean, don't make this all about Charlton, but it is quite comical in that the commentator on Sky on Saturday mentioned that Nathan Jones was second choice after Joe Edwards to take the Millwall job, and for various reasons rumoured that he didn't get the nod. And I know Charlton fans have been really happy with him. But his teams do seem to be go one way or the other. I mean, even last season they got promoted. I mean, for half of it, they were awful. They were close to the relegation zone even last season. He sort of pulled it around and ended up winning the playoffs. But think they've got to realise that, fortunately, we're old stagers at Championship football now. This is 8 seasons we've been here now. And it takes a lot of stamina to do a whole season in the Championship. And you can start great and you can think, we're in with a shout at the playoffs in October. But it's a long old season and there are so many strong teams in this division who can afford to spend really big.
Well, we're not major league spenders. We're not huge spenders by any stretch. I mean, we've invested, I think, very sensibly.
Yeah.
And it was interesting how many of the voices on these Charlton podcasts refer to that very point, that we've been in the Championship now for nine seasons, I think it is. And now we've built a squad that's capable of holding its own at this level, whereas they clearly can't or haven't. And I think sometimes we take a bit for granted at the Den. I mean, they were speaking about our players in slightly awestruck terms, like you and I might speak about the great Dutch sides of the past. They were mentioning Imarku coming on, and his athleticism and his power, and how much of a threat they saw him as. I think sometimes we don't see it from the other side of the fence. I think we've got a very, very decent squad. We'll come back to the transfer window later once we've finished with the game. But I think clearly we're on the brink of a major chance here, Merv. I mean, this is our best opportunity for the big time since Mark McGee's 2002 near miss.
Absolutely,
in my opinion. And that's a tribute to the club's progress, and that was under John Berylson, obviously, now Jimmy Berylson.
Yeah,
but I do think things are coming together. The Nathan Jones question, when he was being touted as Millwall manager, a lot of people saying he'd be a great fit for us, but increasingly, I don't think he would. He's on the edge too much. I don't think he would have handled the
definitely not.
The banter.
I think it only would have taken one. Yeah, it would have taken one dodgy performance, one dodgy result, and the fans are so close to those dugouts. And it was funny that the cameras kept cutting to him on Saturday, going through his histrionics, and jumping. And you said the backdrop of Millwall supporters just laughing their heads off at him, just literally mocking him, And he looked like he looked like Norman Wisdom in full flight. He was throwing himself around, and I thought Norman Wisdom meets Basil Fawlty. It's just, and I think he thinks that shows passion. But I think if it's your manager, you want a bit of composure, and and afterwards he was I think, without sounding too patronising, I think he found his level in getting Charlton into the Championship from League
One to Championship promotion. I agree. Yeah, I don't think he's a bad manager. I think he just has his limits.
Yeah, and we found out that's.
But I think in Alex Neil, we have found a manager. We found a manager capable of taking us to the next level. In my opinion, he's calm under pressure, and clearly when they have some footage, don't they? The club have a camera on him during the game, and he's kind of nodding every ball. And
I love that.
So he clearly. Yeah, he clearly cares, but he don't let that overtake him, Merv. And I think it's so essential at the place like the Den where emotions run very, very high.
Yeah.
Obviously, putting forward past Charlton is a lot of what I've written parochial pleasure, but we've got to look forwards because this is a huge opportunity of a season. Sheffield United next Saturday, then we're away at Wrexham and Sheffield Wednesday. That's 9 big points there, and we can really consolidate our push. I still don't think the second spot is out of the question if we can pick up results at places like that. I mean, that was one thing that struck me Saturday, Merv.
Yeah,
we used to struggle against sides like Charlton. We make heavy weather of them.
Yeah, I mean, do we dare to dream? I think personally, that the second place is possibly. I think again it all rests on the old chestnut of injuries. Because what we're seeing now, we're seing players coming back to fitness. We're not getting any more injuries, touch wood. And then what you're seeing then is consistency. I mean, I've made a note here of people who stood out for me on Saturday. Alfie Doughty was just absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, very much so.
From a defensive point of view, I mean, the way he defended was superb. And then, the way he attacked and his passing, it was like the complete performance for me for Alfie Doughty. That's only come from being able to play regular games, And and
get his fitness levels up. Yeah, absolutely.
And Billy Mitchell again was absolutely superb. But
he was.
Yeah, but you can't get that level if they're coming back from injury time and time again. And if we can get some sort of consistency now, even being really greedy, get Kelly back as well, and even maybe Will Smallbone. I mean, the strength of us is the strength on the bench. You can bring players like Imaku and Kunda on. Now I've been critical of Imaku, but I think Saturday was the perfect example of his strength. I think he is. People say, "Oh, he's an impact sub." It sounds a bit of a cop out, but I think he does love to do that. He comes on when perhaps the team are on top, and he just adds that extra bit of power, an extra bit of pace, and sort of like almost like delivering like the killer blow really to a team that are already on the canvas. But
you still got to knock them out though, Merv.
Yeah, exactly,
I mean, quality of our crossing. You rightly mentioned Downey. I want to mention Femi Aziz.
God, yeah.
The quality of those two players in themselves, let alone the kind of their supporting players around them. The quality of the balls into the box really hurt Charlton. They're a defensively weak side anyway, but you've still got to kill them off. And
Absolutely.
Consistently well-placed crossing into the box creates danger, and that's how it worked out. The first goal was probably a great example of a good cross causing panic, and it finishes up in the net by hook or by crook.
Yeah, a big shout out to Macaulay Langstaff for that one. I thought that little flick, that really good. He's just they sort of call it playing percentages. He knew if he got something on that, it was going to cause trouble. And without being too unkind, it's probably just as well it went in off the defender, because I think if it had fallen to Coburn, he might have missed it. But no, we've got. I know everyone's saying there's literally no way you can defend or excuse or that miss. But I mean, the run for Femi Aziz was just breathtaking. It was just that was the Charlton corner. Charlton were getting back in, not getting back into the game as such, but they'd recovered from that early goal and were having a go. And I thought Campbell was causing us a few little worrying moments when he got the ball. I thought he looked quite good.
He was their one decent player, Merv, the seven.
Apparently Charlton fans are slagging him off. It's crazy. I thought he looked really good. Yeah, he was really. But I mean, when Aziz crossed that ball, I was basically celebrating the goal because it was such a perfect cross. The only thing I can say in Coburn's defence is, again, he's just come back from a lengthy spell out, and that sort of fluency, especially for strikers, and that confidence only comes when you're playing week in, week out, and strikers are going to miss chances, going to miss sitters. Goalkeepers are going to let goals in. Defenders are going to make mistakes. It's just football. But I think I still rate Coburn, and you can see it.
I do. He's a physical presence. In a way that maybe Ivanovic is a more talented player. I mean, being judgmental, I suppose, but I think Coburn, especially since the break and out the game, he's clearly worked on his upper body strength. He's going head to head against some decent defenders there, Merv, and he was there or thereabouts, and the ball went in the net. That's the job of a striker.
It is.
Of course, we can all talk about the miss, but another day, 9 times out of 10, that goes in the net.
Exactly.
It's just one of those moments.
You could argue that the chance he scored at Watford was perhaps a bit harder because you have sometimes when you've got time, it's harder. And the composure we showed there,
absolutely,
it was a lovely. And it all comes down to creating chances. I think we discussed this a few times, and I don't know on stats too much. I don't know. I call this XG cobblers. It does my head in, but there is one stat, and that is how many chances you create. And we used to go through them, and regularly our chances created, even at home, were in single figures. And we were like last season looking at teams up there, the Sheffield Uniteds, the Leeds, the Burnleys, and they were creating like 20 odd chances. And you think that's how you win football matches, is creating chances. And on Saturday, we created, I think it was 23 chances, scored 4 goals, missed 3 chances. That is, our fans have complained for a few years now. So we need a proven championship striker to score the goals. I think we have proven strikers. We need to create chances on the level we did against Charlton and at Coventry. Now we're starting to do that. That's where we're going to get the rewards and where we're going to get the goals from. And say Coburn will score more than he misses, no doubt about it. And I mean, even Aziz,
I agree.
Aziz missed quite an easy chance when he
he scuffed the one in the first half, didn't he? And he had a couple of moments.
Yeah, but it's going to happen. But the main thing is, it didn't cost us. We still won 4-0. So I'm not going to.
Well, the killer goal, if you want to put it that, because they were still in the game really at 1-0, albeit on the lower side of the balance. But the killer goal was the second goal, the 2-0, the Caleb Taylor header.
And what a revelation!
Yeah, But again, I mean, just watching these like I do, listeners, these Charlton podcasts, they mention Jake Cooper's work there because he's actually holding two of their defenders,
Yes.
two athletes, Merv.
Yeah.
You know, and he's a big boy, Jake. You know, he threw the one of the Watford players away in a little melee the other day. Like I might throw a bag of rubbish in the bin, you know. But he was holding two men, and that created the clear run for Caleb to put the ball in the net. These are the dark arts. I think, again, just going back to your previous point, I think we've, you know, chance creation, you're right, but I think also the nous that you have to work these moments in the Championship. That's something we've never been brilliant at, but that was a moment of dark artery, as you might.
Definitely, yeah. It's all part of the sort of stuff they work on at the training ground. It all works, you know, taking advantage of stuff like corners and free kicks. And I think we also need to make a mention to Gavin Ward. I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but when I saw the announcement the stars are aligning for Charlton. You know, they've done something. They've put the brown envelope somewhere at the Referees Association and made sure they end this long run. And I was really and there were several times when I think Campbell burst into the area, not several times, one or two, and he went down.
Yeah.
And I was just waiting for Ward to point to the spot, thinking, this bloke surely can't wait to give them a goal.
He let quite a bit go on both sides. That he seemed to have an idea that it was going to flow. So he got roundly booed in the warm-up pre-match.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was a good move, but then handball on Lyndon Dykes as well, which looked really harsh.
It was.
I saw him bearing down on goal, even when Croker made the save. Before I heard the whistle, you could see the Charlton player had a free shot on goal, and I thought, you know, that was the equaliser. And then they showed the replay, and it was very innocuous. And then to give us a
marginal, I think
I actually said at one point. I think I actually said at one point, if Gavin Wall gives us a penalty, I'll dance around the room, and he did. He gave us a penalty. I mean, it was.
This is why I only do audio-only podcast listeners, in case Merv starts pulling strokes like that.
But
I mean, the penalty. I mean, it's a clear penalty. I don't think anyone can. It was certainly the strangest penalty I've seen in a long while. I remember there was a kind of a bit like a school playground. It's my ball, your ball kind of thing between Aziz and Akundle. And last one I can remember like it, Merv, was when we beat Oldham 5-0 in the Championship winning season.
Harris wanted his hat trick, did he?
Harris wanted it,
and I Moody think wanted it, did he?
Moody was the penalty taker designated, and Harris wanted 3.
The thing is, you almost always find, and between us, we've seen a lot of football matches. Whenever this happens, it's quite rare. Because most teams have a penalty taker, and that's it. There's no discussion unless the penalty taker happens to be off the pitch. This happened at Derby last year. Ivanovic had gone off. We got a penalty.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a debate. Roman decided to take it, missed it. But usually, in these situations, the minute it was resolved that Negley was going to take it, you thought he's not going to score. He's going to miss this because of the fanning about before it. And
the toing and throwing.
Put the rebound in, but it is a bizarre situation. And I mentioned this to, I think it's Tony Mundy was talking about it on X last night, about saying, Ivanovic is our penalty taker, and that's how it should be. And I totally agree. And I was remembering the Steve Harrison story when he was Bruce Rioch's number 2 back in 1991.
Yeah.
And apparently Teddy Sheringham actually mentioned this in his book, and he said he pulled him to one side in training and said, right, you're the centre forward, you've got to be greedy. Take all the penalties, take all the free kicks. If someone has a shot and it's going in, it's going over the line, you kick it over the line. You have to be greedy. You have to take every goal you can.
Yeah.
And of course, he got 38 goals and got his move to Forest. And I think that's how it has to be. I think.
Well, it's similar to the Steve Morrison story under Kenny Jackett, isn't it? You've got to be greedy, basically.
Yeah. And I think Ivanovic has got to say, look, I'm forward. I'm having this. I want another one. I want another goal on my total.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Tony did mention, because I said, well, we've got a bit of a mini crisis at the moment because obviously Coburn missed one last season. Ivanovic missed one against Leicester. And he reminded me, I'd completely forgotten this, the last minute penalty Ivanovic scored against Stoke when he actually smashed it in the top corner.
He belted it.
So he is
exactly the kind of penalty you want to see.
Yeah. So and Alex Neil assures us they've had it out and it's all been settled and hopefully won't be an issue. But let's hope we sort it out before, if we, touch wood, make the playoffs, and God forbid we do need some penalties.
Well, I was just going to say, playoff football can involve penalty shootouts.
And shiver down your spine thinking about it, doesn't it?
You don't need me to tell you that, mate. So I'd say that we want to set a few minutes aside in training to get working on penalty taking. But anyway, let's God forbid that. Transfer window still on. The talk is Barry Bannon leaving Sheffield. He had an emotional goodbye at Sheffield Wednesday, Merv.
Yeah.
I've still not seen anything particularly a formal or official linking him with us, but
when I heard,
it's the talk of the internet, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, when I first heard it mentioned, I thought there's absolutely no way. When I heard that, I think Preston were interested. I thought, well, even if he does leave Sheffield Wednesday, which I didn't think he would do, I thought he's going to start North surely. And then
I would have thought.
Yeah. Then suddenly, Sky Sports were having quite a bit of fun with it on Saturday. They're basically saying, "Oh yeah, he's in London tomorrow for a medical," and they asked Alex Neil about it before the game, and he sort of he had a very wry smile on his face, which didn't really hide much. And Sky Sports seemed to basically when they were going to the Sheffield Wednesday game, and the reporter there saying, "Oh, I'm sure it's an emotional afternoon for Barry Bannon because he's on his way to Millwall," and the guy said, "Well, there's nothing been confirmed, but." And usually, if Sky are sort of quite brazen about it,
talking that openly,
very interesting. It's a very interesting transfer. I think it's split a lot of people because obviously he's 36. He doesn't exactly fit the model, but I think it's very much. We discussed this, I think, a couple of weeks ago. How this is a very different transfer window than last January, where we brought in wholesale changes of transfers coming in, a lot of young future players. Quite a bit of money spent. I think now it's all about just honing and fine-tuning what we've got and saying quality over quantity. And Bannon brings that. Well, he brings that quality, doesn't he? He's.
There's 17 games to play with before
that's a lot.
Shot at the big time. So we need someone that can walk straight into a team and have an influence. And I thought about Bannon a lot. I looked at the reels people have posted them. He's a very skillful player. Let's not. I mean, if you set aside the age thing, I mean, that's going to be a fitness issue. Medical will sort that. Clearly, I believe Alex Neil and Barry Bannon must know each other because of their hometown.
That's what I was thinking. I know he's never managed him, but obviously, when Alex Neil's not managing, managers and players, they come into contact a lot. They do like coaching.
Of course, they do. Yeah,
I get the feeling that Bannon wants to play for Alex Neil. And I think what he brings is because you've got that when you've got those creative players. People like Denori and Doughty, who can unlock, defences and stuff like that. You don't want to be relying on just the one or two. You want to have another option, because then you can sort of use them there, and they've all got different things to bring. And if I think Alex Neil sees Bannon as just another sort of box of tricks to unleash on the opposition, rather than because for so long the only sort of really creative player we had in our sort of championship teams was Jed Wallace. He was really creative. Yeah. When we relied,
he was our wild card.
And then when he was out of the team for whatever reason, or if he was having an off day, we didn't really create much, and
we were very ordinary, weren't we?
Yeah. So just had yet another creative edge, and it's going to hopefully push that sort of amount of goal scoring chances up, and again the goals. I think I'm also hearing. I think it's only a rumor about the Brighton winger. Is it?
I can't think of his name. I know the guy you mean.
Tommy something.
Thompson or something.
Tommy Watson.
Yeah.
They signed him from. He scored.
Watson.
He scored Sunderland's winning goal in the playoffs last year, and he'd already signed for Brighton for 10 million. And apparently they're looking to sort of get him some sort of game time. Yeah. And he's a winger. Yeah, it's Tommy Watson. And he's a winger. But I don't know
just looking at the same. Yeah.
And again, apparently now Burnley are keen and that sort of thing. So I think that's more just a rumour. But I think what will happen, it will be one or two that come in. But like you say, one or two that can go straight in the team, or like the rumours of the Sunderland goalkeeper. Just.
Well, that's another one, isn't it?
Yeah, just giving us a bit of insurance. And I've heard people saying, "Oh, well, why do we need him? Because Crocom's playing well." Yeah, Crocom's playing brilliant. He made a couple of really good stops and so. But what happens if he gets injured? Or gets?
Well, then we're down to George Evans at the moment, aren't we? Or
if you're going for a playoff,
the goalkeeping coach,
or even a top two place, it's a lot. I think we know we need 3 keepers. We've got Evans as third choice, and we need 2 championship quality keepers. I think. And people say, well, Atkinson won't want to come and do what he's doing at Sunderland and sit on the bench. Maybe he won't. But, I think we've got to trust the club. And I do think that is a position that definitely needs filling. I wouldn't be surprised you don't see someone come in.
I think also it's a strange feeling at the Den, Merv. You and me have been around the track so many times. You don't appreciate that as you become successful, you become an attraction to players.
Yes,
They all want to come.
This is it. Yeah, people.
I mean, we had the Hollywood stars in the Den on,
That was hilarious, wasn't it? Yeah.
on Saturday. This is the kind of thing people are attracted to success, and we're not used to it down the Den.
Yeah.
We all, and I include myself on this, listeners, but we all kind of will say, well, you weren't here in the Division 3 days, or you weren't there at Shrewsbury away, were you?
This is what makes it good. Yeah, you do forget. I mean, you look at the attendance, 19,000. You know, the place is full almost on a regular basis now. The funniest thing about the Gary Oldman thing was my daughter walked in just as the camera panned on him. My daughter was a massive Harry Potter fan, and she said, "Is that Sirius Black?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Sirius Black's a Millwall fan." And she said, "Oh, that's so bizarre." I think she was more impressed by that than than my favourite fact that Gary Oldman is actually younger than Gary Newman.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Gary Oldman's younger than Gary Newman, only by a few weeks. But and all people saying he's a Man United.
It make you feel old, Merv. Yeah. That makes me feel old.
But yeah, it is funny when you see stuff like that. But yeah,
there we go.
It's just you know, as George Ezra would say, I could get used to this.
Absolutely, we're 6 points away from the 7th position. So playoff football looking a very strong opportunity, and who knows what else, listeners. And on top of all of that, the cherry on your Mr. Kipling is a 4-0 win over the train spotters from South East 7, the Addicts. Merv, great to talk to you as always. Monday morning with Merv listeners. Big thank you, Merv Payne.
Cheers, Nick.
Stay tuned, dear listeners. We've got loads and loads and loads of voicemails. Stay tuned.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back, dear listeners. Huge thank you to Merv Payne for joining me on this Monday morning. Now then, as you will have appreciated, we have a huge amount of voicemail, as you rightly will expect. So we're going to play out the remainder of the show with one tranche of voicemails, and I will be doing a bonus edition with the remainder. So if you don't hear your voicemail when you've sent it in, I really appreciate everyone that does do that. It'll be in the other edition. So take it away, the voicemails.
Oh, hi, Nick. Martin Colwell here. Got back home from the match today. Horrendous journey in and out. It's a real nightmare, isn't it? Getting from Kent to London now. But yeah, great win in the end. I don't think we had a shot on target to the 80th minute when Callum Taylor scored, did we? I think that the goal was disallowed. Femi Aziz's goal was disallowed, so I don't think we had a shot on target because I don't think the goalie made a save. But yeah, I mean, really scrappy first half. I thought that we struggled to get going. I thought Casper De Noor and Tristan Kramer were kind of very lethargic. I don't know whether the 3 games in a period of a week catches up with them, but they didn't seem to have the legs for it, did they? Very scrappy stuff against a very poor team. I thought Charlton were the worst team that we've seen down there this season. And we created chances, but, you know, coming back to the point I made in the commentary game, we lack a striker who can put the ball into the net. And that is the player we need before the window closes. We can't rely on Coburn because... one, he's too weak in the challenge. He was getting knocked about. I know they were pulling his shirt, but he's getting knocked about like a rag doll. And I know he missed a sitter, but he just doesn't look comfortable in front of goal to me. And we can't rely on him. And certainly Macaulay Langstaff doesn't look like he'll score another goal in his career, the way he plays. Macaulay Langstaff, he works really hard and he's much better with the opposition having the ball and him closing them down and trying to make errors. But when he gets the ball, he seems lost to me. But yeah, real struggle in front of goal. I know Femi Aziz missed an easy chance as well. But yeah, I mean, we should have been gone at half-time, shouldn't we? And as I say, that's the need for the striker to come in and help us with goals because, you know, we might struggle to score enough goals to get us in that top 6. I think that's the only problem that we're going to have with the top six. But anyway, 1-0 half time, bit of a squeaky bum time. We needed to come out and have a real go second half. And I thought we did. I thought Casper Denor and Justin Kramer improved. I think we looked okay at the back. I was a bit worried about Alfie Doughty. He looked a bit slow as a left back. And I think he probably needs to play in front of a left back, Zach Sturge or Joe Bryan, and then have Doughty in front of them to play the balls in, because I think against the quick winger, he's a bit slow. But yeah, other than that, happy with defence. Thought the goalkeeper was okay, although he had little to do. Thought Caleb Taylor was really good. I don't think he put a foot wrong, Caleb Taylor, did he? Again. And he's my man of the match, Caleb Taylor. Thought Femi was a bit off with his touch. I know he put in a good cross that Coburn missed, but I thought his touch was just off. He just couldn't, and he has that problem with offside, doesn't he? The goal and that he gets caught too much. I know he has to play on the last man, but he's got to bring that into his game. He's got to be a bit better at the offside. But yeah, we were a bit better second half. Again, struggled in front of goal once we were creating chances. And as I say, the second goal was the first shot on target, I think. I've not looked, but I think. And then I think Charlton gave up, really, didn't they? Because they know they've not got 2 goals in them. I mean, when you got Lyndon Dykes and the 7 running off him, you're not going to score many goals in a game, are you? If you're going to win a game, you're going to win a game 1-0, aren't you? And kick the opposition out. But I thought their centre-halves were slow. I thought if we put a quick player against them, he would have darted past them. They looked a really bad team. Certainly the worst team I've seen down there this year. But yeah, then the second goal came. I think the second goal really sewed the match up. I think it was a dead game after that. Strange to see Negley take the penalty, I thought, because, he's a casual player, isn't he? He's not a left winger, and I think he was lost on the left wing. I think he's either number 10 or he doesn't play. So I think that's another position that either Alfie Doughty takes, or we need someone else out there. But yeah, I mean, he's so casual, isn't he? I said to my son, he's going to miss this penalty. And, it was a weak effort, weren't he? And really, the goalkeeper perhaps should have... I think the goalkeeper moved before it was kicked. And I don't know whether it would have been retaken if it hadn't gone in from the rebound. But, it's too casual, Ivanovic should be stepping up. He's the centre-forward. He should be stepping up and saying, I'm going to take it, I'm going to bang it in the net. But, where was he missing? I don't know. Maybe Alex Neil said he couldn't take it because of his misses in the past. But, yeah... bit lucky there, but as I said, I don't think it counted. And good to see Adamo and Maku get a goal, because again, I've said I don't think he's up to this level, but at least the goal may give him some confidence, because I think he's going to have to play a bit before the end of the season, because I don't think we'll bring in a left-sided attacker. And certainly if Barry Bannon comes, he won't play there, I wouldn't have thought. But yeah, that's another thing, isn't it? Barry Bannon coming. But anyway, we got over the line in the end, but against poor opposition, and I shouldn't moan about 4-0 win, but we've got to do better in front of goals. And when we get those chances, particularly in the first half, we've got to put them away and get that at least 2-goal cushion, because at 1-0, anyone can score against you, and Charlton could have got a free kick or a corner and scored, and got one. But we've got to put these teams away earlier if we're going to challenge. But yeah, we've got a week off now, so I think that's very good for Millwall, because I think we didn't have the legs really today. I know we got going a bit second half, but I thought it was a bit leggy, and we need to do better in attack. And we need a new striker. I don't think Ivanovic, Coburn will get you enough goals. We haven't got anyone else. Langstaff's not a forward. He's a runner-arounder. And the midfield players are not scoring either. So we can't rely on Caleb Taylor coming up and heading one in. But yeah, I mean, let's not moan. Let's walk forward. Sheffield United might be a tough game because they're a bit in and out, aren't they? But they've got some good players, and they've beaten Ipswich today, so they can't be a bad team. And they're blow a bit hot and cold, but that'll be a tough match. But it should be a good match because it should be attacking because they're not going to sit back, are they, like Charlton? They're going to have a go. But anyway, thanks, Nick. Have a good week. Speak to you next week. And come on, you Lions.
Hello, Nick. It's Lawrence Binney calling in after Millwall 4, Charlton Athletic and 0. Well, it was never in doubt, was it? 14 games consecutively now. We are unbeaten against Charlton. In a game I thought was very reminiscent of a game in 2010, I think. Charlton had Phil Parkinson as manager. We had Morrison up front with Neil Harris. And we just tore apart a very sorry-looking Charlton side, 4-0, without really getting out of second gear. And, lo and behold, I think carbon copy of that game, really. God, they really, really are a gutless bunch, aren't they? Even the fans, just like, there's no sense of occasion with them or pride. It's just, fuck being like that. As for the game, I think in the first half, the occasion, I think, was getting to both sides a little bit. I thought we were quite sloppy out of possession, especially in that opening kind of 15, 20 minutes. We didn't pick up the second balls. I felt Charlton actually started the game brighter in terms of their off-the-ball work, and that counter-press they had seemed to really work. It meant that we couldn't kind of play it through the midfield properly. It became very stodgy in the centre of the park. But I think the quality of our individuals showed as the half wore on, and we were able to find space. In particular, Doughty, Negley, Aziz, standouts, I think, for me, just cut above those players, top six players all day long, potentially more than that. Kramer, for me, didn't have his best performance defensively in that first half. Again, looked a bit shaky, but picked up the pace in the second, and he's such a threat, isn't he, down that right-hand side. I felt a bit sorry for Josh Coburn, whose miss, I think, was a little bit worse than it looked, although he should be hitting the target at least. It's night and day. It's night and day, the difference between Neil Harris, Guy Rowett sides and this Alex Neil side. You can make a fair argument that those managers weren't given the same amount of backing that Neil has been, but maybe they weren't trusted to. Just the quality of our final ball was superb. On another day it could have been 7 or 8. Nothing more to add, really. Very, very bright times ahead, it feels like. I think top 2 is a pipe dream. It's a bit of a cup final, this sort of game, isn't it? Not for us, but just in terms of the occasion, it feels very unique. Local London derby. I feel similarly about the derbies against Orient and QPR as well. I'm not giving any special privilege to Charlton, who I don't really give a fuck about. Derby always has a weird feeling to it. Top 2 is outside for me, but we are on for the playoffs all day long. Couple of decent signings, and I think we'll do it. All right, cheers, Nick. Bye.
Now, I did consider that after such a superb performance at Coventry, but for no reward, it could have had an effect on the players for the Charlton game, but none of it. And I'm running out of superlatives to describe such a commanding performance over our near neighbours down the road. Alex's team selection was spot on, as per usual, and again his substitutions were right on the money. And the result of that was a massively improved goal difference. What a bonus. And that could be crucial in another 17 games down the line. There will be enough of your dear listeners talking about the actual 97 minutes of play. So just a few observations from me, Nick. Firstly, let's spend some time in training next week, not only practicing, but organising who is going to take the next penalty. And, without the skipper making that decision for 2 players having an on-field spat. Penalties are priceless. Let's be honest. We get so few of them. So really should be better prepared. Next, did you notice the massive change in the referee in the second half? Almost as if he was given a bollocking at half-time by somebody, because his cheating was just too obvious. Don't be so obvious and let the linesman take the strain. Next, did we dodge a bullet by not appointing the mad as a hatter Nathan Jones in favour of the Joe Edwards experiment? That bloke is bonkers and has clearly modelled his style on the Ian Hollowhead strategies. And now we know that Barry Bannon is Bermondsey bound. I wonder if there's any truth in the rumours before the game yesterday that we were also signing a striker on loan from a Premiership club. Although we've been there before, Zahor. So let's all hope we'll be signing someone who will fall all in with the great team spirit the gaffer has engineered to keep this momentum going for the next huge game, at least next weekend. Come on, you all.
Hello, Nick. It's Danny here from a snowy Calgary, minus God knows whatever. I don't know what it is right now. It's been a while, but I had to leave a voicemail after a 4-0 drumming at the den of Charlton. Had to, really, didn't I? I don't really know what to... just slaughtered them, really, didn't we? Yeah, I'm not going to leave a big one. I just sort of had to call in and just say, you know, it's always nice to get one over on them. It seems like hopefully they don't go down. Well, hopefully we go up. We don't have to worry about them. And then good to see that Bannon didn't get injured either. I thought that was going to be a Millwall curse. I was nearly 99.99% sure he was going to get injured today, and he wouldn't be able to join or at least be fit. Good signing. Hopefully we have more coming through. I like maybe a few more than that, especially as Bannon's getting to that age where he's not really going to be championship level soon. But a great signing still, and hopefully we can get a few more in through the door. And just a quick mention as well, I thought Marku's goal was brilliant. I thought it was a really good touch and a really good finish. I know there's been some sayings of that he might go out on loan, but I don't know. I think he makes a good end. He definitely tries. And then the obvious shout outs is Kramer and Aziz, and Doughty's loving it, isn't he? Absolutely loving it. And a really cool picture of Gary Oldman and Lewis as well. That was a really cool to see them down there. Anyway, Nick, probably went on way too long than I wanted to. Take care and come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall. Nico, where do you fucking want me? Where shall I start? Oh, hold on, Nick. Achtung, Millwall and the Mill fans. Mind the gap. Hold on. Platform 4. Train to Bexley Heath. Choo, 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 choo. Oh, hold on. They're catching the train to fucking Anoraks. There you go. You never beat Millwall. Mind the gap below Charlton Athletic. Train spotters. Oh, you've got to go and catch a train now, you train spotters. Fucking hell, what a game. Nick, at half time, we should have been out of fucking sight. Should have been 4 or 5 up by half time. Josh Coburn, open goal. Aziz, good shot. How'd he miss that? Got his feet muddled up. You give man of the match Aziz. For me, Nick Hart and Achtung Millwall, Bobby T. Langstaff, he might not cut it in Millwall. He puts a fucking shift in. He's in that number 10 role today. I give him man of the match. He ran, he blocked. He had a Millwall passion. Maybe he's not from Millwall, and maybe the Messi's coming in, Brannigan from Sheffield Wednesday, to put in that Langstaff role will be purring. But don't change it now. Do we really need fucking Brannigan? Do we really need him? I'm buzzing, mate. Right, man of the match, I told you Langstaff, but he gave it to Aziz. Should have been 7 or 6, right? And Marco, I don't care what you do, mate. You're lucky you scored. Great goal. Billy Mitchell, one of our own. Doherty, why put the challenge in? I am fucking buzzing. 4-0. Oh, 4 different scorers, Nick Hart, Achtung Millwall. 4 different scorers. When does that happen? Let's not get carried away. Let's keep calm and cool. Sheffield United next Saturday. Patrick Bamford. Lingen Dykes done nothing today. Again, Cooper and Taylor. Look out for Bamford. Fucking Chelsea reject. Anyway, back to today's game. I am so happy. But again, Millwall. Achtung, Millwall, Bobby T. We leave it. We bossed that game. We bossed that game. How the fuck are we only winning 1-0? Taylor to the rescue. Boom. Thingy. Can't do. You know, love ya. I say no more. Great performance. We are hunting second. And Charlton fans, let me say one more thing. Listen carefully. You sang to us, Premier League. You never. What was it? Premier League. You're having a laugh. Or they were saying Premier League. You never make it. Sorry, Charlton. We're going there. Just because you like back in the McDonald adverts or in 1996 Scott Parker, Charlton, you fucking anoraks. Oh, choo-choo. Oh, platform 4, Bexley Heath. Go and transport your cunts. You know what? And then you leave at half time. Nick, love you. Saw you in the crowd. Bobby T signing off. 4-0 Charlton. You never beat Millwall. 31 years. Man of the match for me was Langstaff. We're going to get Brannigan in. He can be Mihailo. Stay on the bench. Josh Coburn. Referee had a drink last night, Gavin Ward. You're still a fucking little midget. Don't really care. My weekend, off to Curry House. Bye for now, Bobby T. No one likes us, and we don't care. Meh. Nick Hart, Achtung Millwall, love ya.
Achtung, Millwall.
Who do you want to watch?